Hello, I am Mac, at least for a day, and everything is going to be okay. I am joined today with another No Man's Sky YouTuber, so this is going to be an interview. His YouTube channel is called Game Mode, but he likes to go by Steve. Are you there, Steve?
I certainly am, Mac, yeah, and thanks for having me.
Great. So tell us about your tell us a bit about your YouTube channel. What games you play?
Certainly, it's primarily, of course, No Man's Sky, a game which, like you, I fell in love with. It's my favourite game of all time. I like to play Minecraft. I've been playing a bit of Portal Knights as well. Sherlock Holmes, I've got that one. Elite Dangerous, those type of games. I've got a few other type of space games as well, which I don't play very often, but mainly it's definitely No Man's Sky.
Cool. And I think you started doing podcasts recently, like reporting on real world topics or something.
Yeah, I really do love doing the podcast idea. Seeing quite a few other YouTubers and what they do, it really appealed to me, and I thought to myself, I want to do that, and I thought, however, can I learn to do this? I find it quite hard. I find it very strange still, having a channel and doing the podcast. I haven't quite got used to it yet, but fortunately for me, I can talk the hind legs off a donkey. So it's not too bad on that side of things. But I like space news. I adore watching NASA, SpaceX and all of them. And I wanted to incorporate my channel not just with No Man's Sky, but a bit more sci-fi and also real world, space exploration as well, because it is part of our lives now, isn't it? It's quite a familiar thing for us to hear about launches, especially with SpaceX, for example.
Yep. And you've also done some videos at gaming conventions or Comic-Con kind of thing.
That's right. I've actually been doing the Comic Cons now for about 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So I absolutely adore them. I did have a bit of a break, but most of the earlier Comic Cons I did, it was photography only, and I was always there as a press photographer. So I was one of the fortunate ones to get in free. But it didn't. I went through a point where I needed to change something in my life with that, and I saw video for me was the way to go. So I started watching a lot of what people were doing on YouTube, for example, and doing Comic-Con videos and music videos, and I thought, well, that's for me. It really appeals to me. I was very, very shy, believe it or not, in my earlier videos, and had very little confidence. But the Comic-Con videos and learning how to deal with cosplayers was something that sort of brought me out of my shell in the end, and I've been able to instruct the cosplayer on how to model for me. It was quite a feat for me. It felt very, very unnatural again, like I say, but now it's a part of what I want to keep in the channel as well. So there will be regular Comic-Con cosplay and vlogs as well, because I do like vlogging.
Nice.
I like having a chat.
Yep. Yeah, I really like those cosplay videos. And like you said, it was very surprising to me that you were telling them how to model and how to pose and all that. It was pretty neat. And I've never really watched anything about Comic-Con, so the first time I saw it on your channel is the first time I saw all those different cosplayers and stuff. So that was a pretty neat experience for me that your channel introduced me to.
Oh, good.
So moving on, I want to talk about No Man's Sky. how did you first find out about the game, and what were your initial impressions of it?
Well, I first found out about the game by accident. It wasn't too early on. It was certainly before it had come out, and I'd been watching different live streamers, and I was slowly but surely saying to my friend Phil, who appears on all of my Comic-Con videos, I wouldn't mind doing streaming and videos about games. And at the time it was mainly Minecraft, and Phil and I got together with his younger brother Sean, and we made a couple of Minecraft videos together. It was brilliant. And then I was just thumbing through different videos, you know, streamers, and I saw No Man's Sky being mentioned, and I thought, oh, this sounds good. And I actually think it was just Jared, and one of his videos of talking about No Man's Sky, and I thought to myself, this sounds like what I have been looking for. And I suppose that is when I first started getting interested.
Nice. And then when you first played the game, what was that experience like?
At first it was a bit slow, I've got to be honest. I was watching many streamers, and I have to say one of the earlier gamers that I was following on No Man's Sky was you. I was following Just Jared, I was watching and following Cobra and a few others, and so really I've got to thank YouTubers like you, really, you know, for the encouragement that I got along in the game. But my problem, I'll tell you what my problem was, not with all of the bad publicity. I tend to be a little bit oh well, that's their view, it may not be mine. I'm like that over films, you know. If someone says they don't like a film, I'll still hold back on my judgment of it, and I'll see what it's like for myself. And No Man's Sky was one of those which I'd heard all the bad press, and I thought, well, is it? And so I did a bit of homework, and I saw Sean's charismatic but very shy, very, you know, I don't really want to be here, I just want to be making games kind of attitude in his in his videos. And I thought, I really like this guy, and I like what he's wanting to bring out. Anyway, in the end, I bought No Man's Sky because I couldn't afford it. I wasn't working, and that really gave me a bit of time to sort of step back, look and see what everybody else was doing. My problem was, when I first got it, I had never seen the very beginning of the game, and so when I started off on a Crash Planet, I thought, I didn't see this coming, and I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed learning, and I thought, you know, because it just leaves you in the lurch, doesn't it, really, and you don't know what it's happening. And so I thought, great, I really like this, but I was still very addicted to Minecraft, and so I carried on playing that at first. So that's sort of how it started for me, but I did ignore all the bad publicity, which actually it's benefited me.
So you didn't get it until a while after it had come out. Do you remember which version it was? Was it after Foundation?
It was just before Foundation. Yeah,
just before?
It was just before Foundation.
Huh? Because I didn't start doing videos till after Pathfinder. Well, for the most part. But yeah, it was definitely after
really?
Foundation that I first started doing videos.
So that's when I must have. Sorry, yeah. Yeah, that's probably when I first started watching your videos then. Oh. I thought it was earlier, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it surprised me that you had seen my channel. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
But, so, what do you think of the more recent news, you know, the Waking Titan and the announcement about multiplayer for No Man's Sky?
I remember sitting watching Sean mention all of these things, and I was so excited just seeing Sean for a start, and I thought, that guy's looking good. You know, his he still had his beard. I was happy about that because I've got a beard too. And but I was looking at him, and then he just got into it, and he was talking about these things, and I got so excited, and I thought, I'll tell you the reason why. It's more personal to me. My friend Phil, and I've got a couple of other friends who have got No Man's Sky, but one of the biggest letdowns for them, not me, but for them, was the limitation, you know, of playing with your friends. And this will get my friends, my own personal friends, into the game better, because I've got some really good friends who've got No Man's Sky, and this is going to suit them. This is going to suit them down to the ground, and I can understand why so many people wanted it. For me, it's not the biggest thing at all. There is one thing that frightened me though, when he mentioned about when, if you want to be that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That frightened me. I thought, I hope there is an opt-out of that one. But otherwise, I really enjoyed watching him. I really did.
Yeah.
I thought it was great news.
Yeah, the prospect of PvP worried me a lot too. Not just because I'm not a big fan of PvP, but also because I've already had a lot of negative experiences with the very limited multiplayer we have now. Obviously, you can't attack anyone right now with the multiplayer, but you can basically steal their base or steal their star system, since there can only be one base per star system that appears to other players. If someone else comes along and builds theirs, then it basically ruins your base so other people can't see it. And the only way to fix that is to like move your base to another position in the same star system, and then you're basically leapfrogging over them, and then it becomes a competition, or it's actually become malevolent. Before it was just a mistake. People were trying to build their bases in the same star system, and they didn't realize that it would mess it up, so not all of them would be visible. But more recently, my favorite planet, my creative mode planet, I shared its location with a lot of people, and now somebody built a base there, and it's there's nothing in the base. I think they purposefully built it very poorly. They basically built some domes, but there's nothing inside the domes, and the domes have no doors. So it's a pretty useless base, and he set a comm station saying, "I'm never leaving this planet." And I could be reading that wrong. It could be him saying, "Oh, this planet is so good, I don't want to leave," but it could also be him saying that I'm taking your planet and I'm never going to leave it, so you won't be able to stay here and people see your base. So there's definitely already, and even before that, my group, the Spacing Guild, quite a while ago, I made this mistake of doing some role-playing. There was a group, and I won't say their name because I've already had enough negative interactions with them. There was a group that basically role-played having a war in No Man's Sky, and they posted it on Reddit as kind of like a news article. And so I thought that was kind of cool. They were just kind of, you know, playing around, acting like they're having a war. So I actually traveled to the star system where supposedly these events had taken place, and I did a couple videos there role-playing like I was a reporter, and I was exposing the war crimes and the, like, you know, secret corrupt government that was basically warmongering and creating this war to prey on the weak and stuff like that. I was just playing around, but the guy, the leader of this empire, took it very seriously, and I thought he was just joking around at first, but then he barred all Spacing Guild members from joining his group, saying that they would have to break all ties with my Spacing Guild group in order to join his empire. And so I talked to him and I tried to work this out. Like, I thought you were just joking, and he said, no, there is no chance that we can ever you know have peace again. You've gone too far, blah blah blah. And I'd like told him that he was acting like a little kid, and then I blocked him on PSN, and we've had nothing but negative interactions between the groups, although we've mostly ignored each other. But there's a lot of potential there. If there is some kind of PvP, that there could be actual war in the game, which I know a lot of people would like. But if they're actually going to, like, we don't know the extent of what we'll be able to do. I'm definitely scared, since Sean said it's possible to build bases together, or build together cooperatively somehow. We don't know how that's going to work, but hopefully that won't allow people to, I mean, if you can build something together with someone, can't someone come along and mess it up somehow? Couldn't they delete what you've built, or build a bunch of junk on top of it, or whatever? Besides just killing people with PvP, it also seems quite possible that you could, and I think that happens in Minecraft, people on a shared server will mess up other people's creations and stuff like that. But I'll let you give your thoughts about all that.
You've got some really valid points and worries, definitely, for those of us who I feel sorry for people, not myself, because I never build a permanent base anyway, so it's easy for me, but for people like Martin, Boyd Gaming, people like that who are working very hard and doing showcase bases that are absolutely amazing. They work really hard on them. I worry about that, but I've been thinking about Minecraft. I don't like comparing the two, but there is settings that you can actually, if you own that base, or if you own that world, you can actually not trust other players, and have them to help you, but they can't actually do any building themselves or whatever. I hope Hello Games will have taken all of this into consideration. They're all gamers.
Yeah.
And I hope that I hope that there is some turn off. There's an option where you can opt into having an all-out war for those guys that want it, and sometimes it can be a right good laugh. I mean, me and my friend Phil playing Minecraft for a few hours with each other, it will end up where usually Phil will have killed me about 13 times at the end. I'll wake up at the bed, I'll come back up, by the bed, and then he'll kill me again, and it's all for a laugh. But you can turn that off, and I'm hoping Hello Games do the same. I think there should be a protection. There should be a protection for people's bases. If you've made a nice showcase base, you've visited many yourself, and you do some great videos on that, which I love watching, by the way, and you look at the creations of what our friends have been doing, and you think, wow, we haven't got a lot to build with, but these guys are doing some amazing work, and it would hurt me greatly to see, the amount of bases I've been to visit with Martin, Boyd Gaming, and I can't see them anymore. And I've had to tell him, and it's happened to me once doing a live feed, and that was really a live stream, sorry, and that was really embarrassing. I thought, I just can't believe it. Somebody's obviously taken a base there deliberately. As you say, at one time it was a mistake, and I think I've done it myself once because I didn't know they went missing. But after that, I won't do it again. And it does put you off giving out portal coordinates, doesn't it? So I'd like protection for that, and I have faith in Hello Games. I think they should do it.
Yeah. I'm good friends with Boyd Gaming as well, as people know, and as you mentioned, and I had the exact same experience. Several of the bases Well, first of all, he built a maze for Cobra TV, and that first maze was ruined. I tried visiting Cobra's maze, and someone else had built a different base in the exact same spot. So they deliberately, like, not sure how they did it. Oh, they probably went offline. They went offline, claimed that base, and then came back online again. And so stole that exact position and deleted the base that Boyd had built. So,
that's
yeah,
sad, isn't it? It's
yeah,
really
I know.
sad
And
when
then
that happens.
other bases that I had done with Boyd, because I had been showing the portal address for them in every video so other people could go to them and enjoy them. But Boyd actually had to tell me that I needed to stop showing the portal addresses because people kept stealing the bases and ruining them. So very unfortunate. So I definitely hope there is a way to prevent people you don't want from editing your bases or city constructions or whatever it is that we're going to have.
Yeah.
Obviously there is, I mean, there is right now, as far as if someone does go to your base, they can't alter it, but like I said, there's a way to cheat and go offline and steal the exact same base, or just claim another base in the star system, which also does about the same thing. So yeah, there is a lot of potential for harassment in the game that hopefully they'll take precautions for.
Yeah.
But like you said, I do trust that they'll do something. They do have ways to block people from doing offensive material and such, so hopefully they'll do something similar like that. And one solution I've thought of is, of course, we have creative mode, so as far as players killing you, they would not be able to kill you in creative mode, but of course I don't want people to be forced to play creative mode in order to avoid being attacked. I'm hoping what they do is they'll make, some people are saying just make a separate PvP mode, though I'm not sure that would work very well. I think what would be better is if they use the existing modes. Normal mode would be like the co-op mode, where you can only help each other, you can't attack each other, but survival mode would be, and that would be an increased difficulty of survival mode, is that people could kill you. Now as far as permadeath goes, yes, they probably would make PvP possible in permadeath, and because of that you would be forced to live out on your own and avoid coming across other players. But that kind of makes sense, that permadeath you would be more solitary, and it would be kind of the all alone by yourself sort of mode. But anyway, moving on from all that, I do trust that Hello Games will handle it correctly, and we will see how things go at that time. Now I'd like to talk about the more recent development in Waking Titan, where we just got these new fragmented images of what appears to be either a freighter or a mid-sized ship or possibly a submarine. I'll let you go ahead and tell me what you think of those images and what they could be.
Yeah, I first saw it when you announced it. I always leave that to... I don't tend to do too much searching with Waking Titan. I certainly haven't followed it as much as I did last time, but I still sort of stand back and I let you guys do that bit. But I saw your post and I got so excited, and I thought, oh, I've got to look at this. So I was staring at the pictures, staring, and I thought, what can I see? I then started getting all the videos through, and today, because as you know, I went out with my family today, so I got back and I started watching Cobra. I was watching Just Jared and so on, and their views of it, and I completely agree with, I think it looks like, at times I actually thought, well, that could get away with being a submarine, but I actually do feel that it's somewhere in between a freighter and a ship. And I could, because it's got the turrets on the top and the bottom, I do feel as though it's an in-between, if you know what I mean. I still would like a submersible though. So if Sean listens, submersible please, for Stevie.
Yeah, I agree. The turrets definitely make it seem like it's not a submarine because
Yeah,
turrets typically fire like a laser or photon blast, and you can't really do that underwater. A submarine, if it has weapons, going to have like a torpedo port that fires a solid projectile through the water, and I really don't see why there would be need for weapons on a underwater vehicle anyway, unless they're going to, add some really major dangers underwater. But they definitely do look like ships to me, and I'm leaning more towards thinking that it is a mid-sized ship, because looking at it, it doesn't look like it has the same entrance. I've looked at some of the reconstructed versions of the images, and it doesn't look like there is like the port where you land your ship into, at least not the same conventional one, like the tiny little one at the very top, because it's so big. I think it's a smaller ship, and it would be really awesome that the idea that it could be a smaller ship that 4 people could man and control the turrets, and like one person could be flying it and then 2 people could be manning the 2 turrets on the top and the bottom, which makes perfect sense, and then maybe the 4th person would be making repairs, much like, I hesitate to say, Sea of Thieves, because Sea of Thieves is much like that. You've got the cannons that someone has to man, you've got the steering wheel and the the mast, I'm terrible at not coming up with words right now, and then someone else is like below deck fixing the leaks and all that. So that is a possibility. However, I think that would mean a very major engine change, because right now the way the engine works, anywhere where you're standing on solid ground, that solid ground doesn't move. We don't have planet rotation. The planets don't move. So whenever you're standing on a planet, it's perfectly still in space. And just the skybox moves around it to make it look as though time is passing. And then on freighters are always perfectly still. You can make them warp in, or you can see them warp in, but when you're inside of it, it never ever moves. And the same goes for space stations. Space stations are always perfectly stationary, and the Atlas stations and the space anomaly stations, they can appear suddenly, but once they've appeared and rendered in, they never ever move. So I think they would have to majorly change the engine, but we do have some indication that they may be changing it. Some people are going to yell at me for saying this, but I do think that the background in the Sean Murray interview that we just had, I do think that that was new gameplay footage that they were sneaking in there for us to see. Some people are saying, oh, it's just old footage from the E3 planet, but I'm definitely with Cobra and other people that are saying there's no way they would bring back that old footage if it was totally irrelevant. There's no reason to do that. And I don't think Xbox had some old archived images that they were using. I definitely think that that footage was provided by Hello Games, and there's no reason Sean would have that old E3 build behind them if it wasn't actually something that's going to be in the future. And that footage, one of the things people remark, which sounds kind of dumb to an outsider, but the trees are moving. And that's just really exciting, because those of us who played the game know that trees are perfectly still. Grass can move in the wind, but trees never do. And so it does seem like maybe they're introducing a more dynamic engine where other things react to weather effects, and this is definitely a stretch, but if they are going to change the engine that much and the visuals, then perhaps they'll also make it so that they may introduce planet rotation, and they may make it so that larger ships that you're standing in will also move while you're inside them. I do think that would be very difficult. I'm not a programming expert, but I do think it would take some major engine changes. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. Did you want to say anything about all that?
Yeah, I was. You just set me off on a whole thought there. Standing in your freighter or whatever new ships we may get, maybe one of the ones that we've seen in the pictures that we've had recently. Maybe having, say, your room in one of those, or like in your freighter, and having a window you can look out of, and circling that planet like the astronauts do, and they're going round the Earth, and everything's rotating, you're going round, and just little issues, little fine touches like that will add so much to the game. And we know that as a community we can do so much with No Man's Sky. You look at the mods that the PC community are getting from, for example, Rayrod. We look at what you can do with it now. So what the actual creators of this amazing game can do, well, it remains to be seen. I've always been happy with the updates that Hello Games have been giving us. I've been so excited when base building came in. Stevie was like a happy bunny. When we got our Exocraft, I was like a happy bunny. I couldn't wait to download it myself and to drive around a planet. I loved it. And then when we got, for example, the new exotic ships, and we got the hints for them, didn't we, with the pictures. Again, it just blew my mind. I still remember seeing the first tall, thinned, white and gold exotic ship come in. I couldn't afford it at the time. I couldn't buy it. But I was talking to my wife, Jill, and I stopped her straight away. I went, no, I don't want to talk. I've just seen my first exotic. And, things like that. And that's what we love, don't we? No matter what Hello Games give us, it's really good. And I think this is going to be really special, and I don't mind hyping myself up about it. We already know as a community that this is going to be the biggest update yet. Sean and the guys, like they've said, they've been working their socks off for a whole year now. They've been testing this for 6 months and what they've been doing. I think they've got something special. And you know what I really enjoyed from Sean? They don't really like saying a lot. They would sooner, they put their money where their mouth is. They want to give us instead of just talking about it. And personally, even though we had a bit of a hashtag, say hello, and I really enjoyed that, and we were showing the Hello Games and Sean that we love them, we love what they've done for us, and we really appreciate it. And now they've actually done this for us, but it's just so exciting, and I don't mind building myself up on a hype on this, whether it's whether we're going to get it looks like we're going to get some new ships of some kind. Finding out what they are. As soon as we get that download, when it comes out, I'm sure each and every one of us will be diving into No Man's Sky and rushing round and seeing what we've got. I don't know how you're going to be feeling on that day.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. Luckily, I'm going to be off work for the next 2 weeks after the update comes out, so I'll be doing quite a bit of playing for those 2 weeks after it comes out.
That's brilliant. I've noticed a lot of my followers on YouTube are newer players, and an awful lot of them like me doing my tutorials, and that's something that I'm going to be doing. Obviously, people like us who play No Man's Sky are going to have to get used to all of the newer update when it comes out next. It's going to be new to us. There's going to be things that you and I will not have seen before, and all the others like Cobra, MZK, Just Jared, Zane's World. I'm going through all of the ones that I can think of, and there's loads more that I follow and that you probably follow as well, and L Plays as well, who's doing such a good job, a fellow Brit. Yep. And it's I can't wait to start doing some replays, and I have to say, Mac, I've really enjoyed what you've been doing with the new series, and seeing No Man's Sky at the beginning and what it looked like at the beginning. I thought that was great idea. Well done.
Oh yeah,
on that
thanks.
one.
Yeah, I finished that 1.00 series, but yeah, it was a lot of fun kind of traveling back in time, feeling the nostalgia, the way the game used to be.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank Steve for coming on my channel today, and I want to encourage everyone out there to check out his channel, Game Mode. Steve, you have a very loving, father-like demeanor, and it's very pleasant and enjoyable watching your videos and hearing your voice. I like how you always tell us that you are your friends. So, any closing words before we go?
Hello, guys. Welcome to Mac's World. No, yeah, I just want to thank everybody. I am in a bit of shock on how well my channel's been going, to be honest with you, and how lovely people have been to me as an older man, as you say. I'm 54 years old as a gamer, and I'm surprised that people are watching me. So I really want to thank everyone. I also want to thank you, because you're one of the guys that I've been watching, you know, for quite a while now. And I remember seeing you, Mac, when you just reached 500 subs, and I thought, wow, that would only be a dream for me. And now I'm almost on 700 subs myself, and I just don't know where it's come from. I really don't, and I know you feel the same way. Yep. It's a really beautiful and wonderful community, and on behalf of Mac and I just want to thank you all. You guys are awesome.
Yep, thanks a lot. So I have been Mac, and this has been Steve. Thank you for joining us for a day, and remember, everything is going to be okay.